Hello, good morning. I can't remember what Hugh says. I'm taking over this week. I will tell you why shortly. It's all getting a bit frantic here aboard the Esperance. We are working towards leaving England on the 23rd of August and sailing across the Channel to France. However, we are nowhere near ready. We have 3 weeks to finish off an unrelenting list of jobs, as well as doing gigs, teaching, entertaining and teaching our 3 children, and we've got Hugh's brother's wedding coming up, which we're very excited about. We're due to come out of the water next week at Hailing Island for them to fix the problems that we had with the Seacocks way back in April on the day we launched. We don't have an electrician, so we don't have any 240-volt power away from shore. The solar arch might not be finished in time. We don't have any davits for the dinghy. The safety equipment, including the life raft, hasn't arrived yet. The parts that we need for the solar arch haven't arrived yet. The bow thruster and the anchor, although working, need rewiring in a safe way. We need to fill up on diesel. That's easy, you might think. However, Hugh has just informed me that we don't have a working filler hose. He said something about dragging the hose through the kitchen and directly into the tanks. The tow rail is still unstable, and we're trying to squeeze in a visit from John, who's going to come and fix this. The handrails mounted on the tow rail need securing directly to the hull. Our AIS, useful safety navigation tech, is not connected. Our autopilot is not connected and probably won't be connected by the time we leave. We still haven't finished painting the deck, and up until today we haven't been able to because there hasn't been any hardener in the country. Until the deck's finished, we can't finish fitting all of the deck fittings, we can't put back on the sails or the running rigging. We have no hatches in the deck, it's just some boarded up holes. And there's a whole host of other fiddly technical jobs that are, filling Hugh's mind, and he is too grumpy to tell me about them. The do-it-yourself flexi-teak has arrived, but Hugh hasn't even had time to open the boxes. Not all of the cupboards have catches. One of the strings on the piano needs changing, and there are tools and toys everywhere. What are we going to do with these 3 giant dragons that the kids made? And to top it all off, Hugh is out of action this week.
So I started off yesterday's video with such high hopes. We've got a few days without the kids, we're going to get the front of the boat painted, and as it is, I can't move my right arm properly. So,
What have you done?
I don't know. Well, I do know what the final trigger was. I think there's a combination of months of power tools and then doing a cartwheel into the swimming pool.
He did a cartwheel in the swimming pool.
I did a really cool, amazing cartwheel into the swimming pool. It was awesome. Everyone was like super impressed, and it was entirely worth the pain and injury I'm feeling now. But it's strange because I carried on working about 3 days afterwards, and it just got worse and worse until yesterday when I sort of got nauseous and sick and a bit dizzy and fainty. So anyway, so the good news is I've always wanted Kel to get more involved with the build on the boat, and that is exactly what is happening right now. Cam's back for a couple of hours this morning. You just saw him. I can see him getting out the window. Here we go. Scooting past. There he is. It's Cam's stuntman legs and his stuntman Batman t-shirt. And he's tightening up a fitting for me, whilst my beloved
I'm
wife
ready.
is being awesome.
I'm just holding a spanner, really.
She's awesomely holding a spanner.
And I had to put your socks on for you this morning.
She didn't have to, I just sort of took advantage of the situation.
That's good.
Hello.
Nice view of my behind.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, I've got no idea what a shot I couldn't see. Kel and Cam are just finishing the last 2 blocks into the deck, so all forward fittings should be back in, and then after that they'll be able to clean the foredeck and then start taping up, ready to paint tomorrow, and hopefully we'll still be on track. Everyone's favourite, masking up time. It took me 11 hours last time to do the back deck. Foredeck is bigger, but hopefully simpler, and I've got Kelly helping me. So let's give it 4 or 5 hours. I just wanted it less. I did so much thinking last time, which I won't have to do this time. We're going to wrap through this, we'll be fine. Here we go, bit of a stop motion filming.
He is downplaying this a bit. He couldn't move yesterday. He was in absolute agony. He seems to have calmed down now, but I think the drugs are kicking in. Notice how he's slurring his words? He is in pain, drugged up, and yet he still can't help but get involved. Oh, and here's another problem. The GoPro keeps randomly deciding not to record sound on certain videos. I think here he's just pointing out some of the awesome rounds that he has masked out. He also had some last-minute preparations to make. I'll let him explain.
Man, I'm so annoyed this audio didn't work. This was one of the things that actually went right this week. I have always thought the idea of granny bars, or as YouTube commenter David told us a few weeks ago, fife bars? No, wait, fife rails, would be really sensible for Esperance. She has a large curved foredeck with only a few handrails. Having rails around the base of the mast will give us something secure to lean and hold on to whilst working at the mast and going forward during rough seas. As I'm a little bit particular, I was determined that every single deck fitting should look like it was designed to go there. Hence, I wanted to leave patches in the paintwork to neatly accent every fitting. It was time to tape up the foredeck, and I hadn't even designed the granny bars yet alone made them. I spent an enjoyable afternoon clambering aboard some of my neighbours' boats with a tape measure to have a look and measure up their granny bars. Nick's boat, Matt's boat, and of course our lovable neighbour Rob's boat. All designs had merits, and all had things I would do differently. Matt's were probably the most practical, Nick's were the largest, Rob's were the prettiest. I feel a bit like a bake-off judge. I then made a new friend. Matt designed and made his own bars last year, and after I'd looked at his, he came over to Esperance to share his wisdom and his experience. He was a lovely chap and full of great ideas. He said now that he had his granny bars, he would not be without them. This was enough to persuade me that this crusade was worth continuing with, and I pushed through to finish the design before painting the deck. We discussed the ideal height, the distance from the mast, angle, structural stability, walkways around and past the bars, climbing up the mast, accessing all the winches and all the halyards, as well as the complication of the hatches on Esperance's deck being in the way. This was then followed by another enjoyable evening of manipulating photos on my brand new iPad, and I had a design I was happy with. So, the final job next morning was to sign off on the position of the feet and mask out the areas ahead of painting. Job done. I am pleased I pushed through and made the effort, and hopefully one day we will actually get round to building the bars themselves.
Time for the sand. After some sanding. This is an important step. It's called keying to make sure that the paint will bond to the undercoat.
Finally finished the last bit of masking. As much as I enjoy the masking, it is good that it's over because we can do the next stage. So I've got Kelly and Kelvin with me. Kelvin's just helping me. He's just doing now the final bit of acetone, cleaning off the deck. It's all been sanded, prepped, and we're going to go for it with the epoxy and the first layer of sand, which is the big fun coat. So yeah, wish us well. Kelly's doing some mixing. Isn't you, Kelly?
I am indeed. Mix, mix, mix.
A layer of epoxy paint is applied and the sand is poured directly on top of the wet paint so that when it dries it sticks to the paint.
Could you ever do a martial arts stretching?
Like your husband, his back's knackered.
Going to paint that.
Kelvin's bomb is going to paint that bit.
I can spread there.
You
Then
can
he's
spread.
going to have to go to there. Then
Okay.
I can stand on this to do that. Then he's going to have to go to there. Then I can spread there while I'm still standing on this. Then I'll need to move to there. So then he's going to have to paint that so then I can walk in. Then he'll paint that so I can walk in. Something like that.
I think they're making up. I think they're making up as they go along.
Here we are, blowing all of the loose sand away.
Very warm. Almost burning your feet.
And then straight onto painting the top coat. Painting directly onto the sand layer. This used up a lot of paint. Unfortunately, Hugh totally underestimated how much paint we needed this week to get the job finished. The lead time on getting new paint is 48 hours, and unfortunately, we didn't realise this until late on Friday. The paint shop is now closed for the weekend. Oh well, hopefully we'll do better next week.